done the best to cover up the hockey part of my garb, though it still hangs behind me. I don't know where else to post this other than on my entertainment channel. So right now, the biggest talk on YouTube is the Logan Paul stupidity. I checked out a couple of his videos once, and I'm like, this kid's stupid, and I stopped watching him. I understand he's one of the biggest channels on YouTube, and I understand he's also one of the fastest growing, and it is part of what I really don't understand with the whole YouTube bit. There's certain channels I look at and I'm like, that's not entertaining, and it's not. I didn't learn anything watching that. I just wasted 20 minutes of my life. And there's people talking about how to fix it. The trick is this. This platform is for creators. It should be for creators. It's designed for creators. He has the right to be dumb, and we have the right not to pay attention and not to watch it and not to talk about it. I realize that there's some hypocrisy in me saying it and doing a video on it. I realize that. But I've also gone through all of the other controversies, whether it's Rice Gum or whoever, and there's a lot of stupidity that's gone on between big providers. And here's what I don't understand. All of these creators make a lot of money. They make a ton of money. Part of how Logan Paul was able to do this video and so I'm not going to monetize it and whatever, he makes a lot of money on YouTube. There's a lot of people watching him. There's a lot of advertising money going his way. A lot of money that doesn't go my way. Then he does something stupid. And when these guys do something stupid and they get into these fights with each other and it scares off advertisers, that affects everybody else. So when all these big channels get into all these big fights with one another, it directly affects the rest of us who are just, barely making a living on this, or people who are trying to get their foot in the door. It's been said before, and it's true, that if you're a small provider on YouTube, if you're a small channel, you don't get as much attention from Google/YouTube themselves. And I understand why. Totally understand why. But at the same time, I think sometimes the compass on social media is broken in favor of the big ones, and I think there's some really decent smaller channels that nobody pays a lot of attention to, or maybe they're at a decent number, but they're not taken as seriously because they're not as big. And for me, maybe it's different because I'm older than most other providers. Most other providers are in their 20s. Sometimes they're teenagers. And I don't think a lot of these kids, for lack of a better term, these kids who do these videos, I don't think 10, 15, 20 years from now, they're going to look back on these videos with tremendous pride. They're going to look back and go, wow, what was I doing? That was so silly. I know if I'd had a YouTube channel with any decent following when I was in my 20s, oh, there would have been mistakes. Oh, the drama that would have been all over. And I find it so strange that the draw that people feel towards drama means that these guys get encouraged for what they're doing. The idea that, hey, look, my subscriber count went up by 25,000 today because, I did this, and it might be something really dumb they did. And maybe people subscribe not because they enjoyed it, but because, wow, this guy's really crazy and stupid. I'm going to tell them what I think, but they hit the subscribe button at the same time. I don't get it. People ask me a lot of the time, well, what YouTube channels do you watch yourself? The biggest ones I watch would be Phil DeFranco and Emma Blackery. I think are the biggest ones. Red Letter Media. I don't think they have 1 million subscribers. Stone Gremlin Productions. I know he's not at 1 million. Brad's fantastic though. And it's weird because I try to make sure that when I'm watching videos every day from somebody, that it's somebody that I can watch and go, you know what, I could have a conversation with this person if I met them in real life, and that's the kind of person I'd probably want to hang out with. And I'm baffled by some of these channels that these guys are so popular, and I watch their content and I'm like, this is so dumb. Like, yeah, it's polished, it looks better than what I'm doing on my channel, and it's edited. There's jump cuts every 5 seconds, enough to give you seizures if you're prone to them. But I look at that and I go, well, yeah, they spent a lot of time on this video. it's still stupid. It's still pointless. At the end of it, I'm still like, I can understand the channels more where you're watching somebody playing games. So in that way, I can understand PewDiePie becoming as big as he is because people are entertained by him. Do I think he's funny? No, I don't think he's funny. One of the ways that this whole thing for me started was I would watch the big channels on YouTube and some of these guys that people are like, they're really funny, and I'm thinking, I'm funnier than that. And not from an egotistical point of view, but from a point of view of that's not funny. It's kind of the Twilight effect. When Twilight from Stephanie Meyer became a bestseller, I had debated putting a gun in my mouth, but thankfully I didn't own one, so instead I tried reading it. And it's terrible, but it's popular. So because it's popular and terrible, everybody talks about her like she's this really, really successful author. And yet the writing won't hold up. 50, 60 years from now, it's not going to be in schoolrooms. It's not good writing. It's horrible writing. Just looking through 2 or 3 pages of it, I could find all kinds of errors. And if here's an example. If you guys want me, I know Yvonne's got at least one of the Twilight books around. If you guys want me to do it, you've got the whole series.
I do. I've never read any of them, but I have.
Okay, so in the comment section below, in light of the overall stupidity of the big YouTube channels and me tracing it back to Twilight, if you guys would like me to do a dramatic reading of Twilight, I'd be entertained. I have no problem doing dramatic readings of Twilight, because to me it is the stupidity of those novels and of the movies that followed that weren't any better, where Kristen Stewart just continuously looks confused, baffled, bewildered, and befuddled. And that's her emotional range in those movies. And I know she can act because I've seen her act in other movies. And though she always seems like a dirty stoner chick, and I don't mean that in a derogatory term, just look at her and tell me those aren't the three words that come up. The fact is she can do better than that. And she didn't always look like that. If you've watched Zathura, you know she could have been a very, very pretty young actress, and something just went very horribly wrong. And I blame Twilight. And I blame Twilight for crap like Logan Paul, and for the fact that it's big. And personally, due to the video that's been deleted, that now has been re-uploaded by a bunch of people, and it's easy to download and re-upload videos. It's pretty easily, and apparently there's YouTube creators that are upset about it. I am well aware that I've had videos that have been cloned and thrown up on Dailymotion. I found myself on YouTube. People let me know when it happens. All I do is I do my best to block people that I've seen do it, and that's really all I can do, because it's going to happen. So now YouTube creators are upset about that. And I've done it. I've downloaded YouTube videos onto my computer way before I had a channel. I did it, so I know it can be done. I didn't do it to re-upload them, though. That seems kind of weird and strange, because it's not your content, so there's not a lot you can do with it without getting caught. And then, yeah, I'm baffled by that. But it is something I wanted to have just that little discussion with and post a video on, because it concerns me. All of these pointless fights over pointless issues, and all of these spoiled millionaire kids fighting, and their fights lead to ad revenues dropping for those of us who are of nothing to do with it and never will. I have no intention of ever being drawn into a YouTube fight. It's not interesting to me. I'm not at all interested in being involved in that, because it's pointless. You know that whole, if you win a fight on the internet, you guys can fill in the rest. But that's kind of what it is, and now it's on a bigger scale, and people are watching ads on these videos because these guys are making money on them. That's all it is. If you sit through the ads, the creator makes money. I've said it on my main channel, I'll say it here. If you sit through the ads, the creator makes the money. If you skip the ads, the creator doesn't. Unless apparently it's one of those really long ones, then you just have to watch the first 30 seconds. But that's all it is. If their revenues drop because they do this stupid crap and all they're doing is fighting, they'll stop. So they're dumb, and yet I can understand what they're doing from the point of view that it gets money. I know with my main channel there are ways that I could get cheap hits. I could get all kinds of attention, and I would probably make a lot more money if I sensationalize my videos, but it's not the way I would want to do it. It's not something I'd want to do. I don't want to feel like I'm not myself and that I'm sort of taking the low road. Because yeah, you'd make a lot more money by just saying the most controversial things comes to your mind, and you curse and you swear and you yell at people, and then somebody's going to share and go, can you believe what he just said? Like, no, it's not my style. But there are a lot of creators being rewarded for it, and it started with Twilight. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through and you happen upon this video. And hey, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.